So injuries in the growing human, and we're going to talk about a few risk factors and some actionable strategies that have seemed to be able to take hold a little easier over the last couple of years working with families. So a couple things. Number one, growth spurt. So when our dancers grow, their bodies are changing. And so I always liken it to the example I always give the dancers is, okay, imagine you're a car and you're driving, not that we're machines, but you're a car and you're driving down the freeway and you're going like really fast because you got to get somewhere. Now imagine trying to fix your car the same time you're driving at that speed, and that's basically what's happening. There's so many things that are going on, so if it feels discombobulating, that's because in many ways it is, and I think giving them the peace to understand that. So there are temporary changes, like the flexibility that I mentioned when bones grow longer. A little bit of decreased proprioception, so balance can be off. Maybe sometimes it looks like they're being very clumsy, but they're just, if their arms or legs got longer, maybe they're unaware of how much space they're actually moving through. And then, of course, strength and flexibility imbalances. Muscles just take some time to catch up. As far as muscle and bone is concerned, many of the dancers, it just culturally kind of how it exists are predominantly female. And growth, for example, is the best, during periods of growth all the way up into adolescence, into early adulthood is the best time to build bone density. We build bone density by loading it. So that's why we're always promoting weightlifting, not to say that they have to absolutely just get super maxed out, but they have to understand what it feels like to navigate something heavy, because that helps to connect the body in ways that body weight just doesn't. It's not to say that it's not to say that if they don't lift weights, they're not going to be healthy. That's not the case. It's just more so an example of the body adapts to good stress. And over the course of growth, there are ways to introduce methods of good stress, and so that their body can adapt, right? We talk a lot about overuse injury, but the truth is this overuse or is it underprepared? So, just kind of, I know it's like more of a semantics situation, but just something for us to think about. Brain-body connection. So once again, the changes in balance and coordination, how are we just connected to our body? And then some other things would be dynamic stability related to the leg. There are certain, they'll call it like growth-related injuries, but really it's just a natural process. If my bones are growing faster than my muscles, then my muscles inherently are going to start pulling on the tendons at areas where it connects. So if you've heard of things like Osgood-Schlatter's or Osgood-Schlatter's in the knee, or severs in the ankle, or there's another Eislin's in the outside of the foot. These diseases, not the greatest word choice, but I guess these conditions are because the bones are growing faster and the tendons are there's a little bit more stress on the growth plates. Once again, there are ways to introduce good stress so the body can adapt. And I would say if you're having to deal with things like Osgood-Schlatter's or Severs, most of the time, this conversation has to be about management. I think sometimes we think about, okay, I just need to cure this pain, which depending on the situation is appropriate. A muscle strain, an ankle sprain, those are things that we can, there are protocols to follow and there is an expectation, whereas if they're growing, we don't know if they're gonna grow like one growth spurt, two growth spurts. Does this growth spurt last 3 months? Does it last 1 month? So I think being able to talk about, if your child is dealing with growth-related injuries, understand that it is more beneficial to come from what we would say a management standpoint, where, all right, if you are having discomfort, what are the strategies you can do to take down the pain so you can continue to move? Or even in terms of pain, the expectation is that sometimes there will be a little bit of discomfort, and how much discomfort is too much, right? And feeling safe to be able to sort of self-regulate. Great.